Let me say something real clear right from the jump. You don't need noise to grow. You don't need applause to develop. You don't need a stage to become strong. See, too many people want to be seen before they've been shaped. They want to be known before they've built anything worth knowing. But the most powerful transformation doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in silence. If you're serious about building something great, you've got to learn how to build yourself quietly. And there are 5 ways to do it. Develop discipline in private. That's where the real growth begins. Not on the stage, not in the spotlight, not when people are clapping for you, but when it's just you, the work, and the silence. Discipline is what you do when no one's checking. It's waking up when the alarm goes off and your bed feels better than your goals. It's pushing through the workout when there's no coach yelling in your ear. It's choosing the hard thing over the easy one, not once, not twice, but every single day until that choice becomes your second nature. In a world that's obsessed with performance, real power comes from preparation. And preparation demands private discipline. Most people want results without routine. They want the finish line without the footsteps. But greatness doesn't show up all at once. It shows up in layers, in habits, in small decisions made behind the scenes when no one's looking. If you can't do the work in the dark, you won't handle the light when it comes. Because the spotlight doesn't make you better, it just exposes what you've been doing when no one was watching. Private discipline is where confidence is built. People think confidence comes from achievements, but that's not true. Confidence comes from knowing you've done the work. It comes from keeping promises to yourself. It comes from showing up when it was hard and finishing when it would have been easier to quit. When you develop that kind of consistency, you walk differently. You speak with authority, not because you're trying to sound powerful, but because you know you've earned the right to stand where you're standing. And you don't have to announce it. Your discipline speaks for you. This kind of discipline doesn't come from motivation. Motivation fades. What you need is a reason, a standard, a non-negotiable commitment to who you want to become. That's why it has to be personal. Nobody's going to clap for you at 5 a.m. Nobody's going to post your sacrifice on social media. And they shouldn't, because the foundation of your growth should never be public approval. It should be internal alignment. When your actions match your identity, you develop a level of discipline that becomes automatic. You don't have to force yourself to show up. You expect it from yourself. Most people wait until it's urgent. They wait until there's pressure. But that's not discipline, that's desperation. Discipline means training before it's needed. It means building the habits before life demands them. It means creating structure in your life that supports your vision even when your feelings don't cooperate, because your feelings will betray you. Your goals will not. And when your discipline is rooted in your goals, not your emotions, you become unstoppable. Every great performer, every top leader, every influential voice you admire didn't get there by chance. They built in private what they now display in public. And they didn't skip the process. They didn't shortcut the grind. They embraced it. They knew that the invisible work is what builds visible success. That means the early mornings, the quiet hours, the practice reps, the books studied, the failures reflected on. All of it counts. It's not extra, it's essential. And the beauty of developing discipline in private is that no one can take it from you. You don't need permission. You don't need applause. You don't need a title. Discipline becomes your identity. It becomes who you are, not just what you do. And when you live from that place, you stop chasing opportunities and start attracting them. Because the world may not see the grind right away, but eventually, discipline always reveals its reward. Protect your peace like it's the most valuable asset you own, because it is. Peace isn't just a feeling, it's a foundation for everything you want to build in your life. Without peace, your mind gets cluttered, your heart gets heavy, and your decisions get clouded. When you protect your peace, you're creating space to think clearly, act intentionally, and stay focused on what truly matters. But peace is fragile. It can be stolen by negativity, distracted by drama, and destroyed by toxic people if you're not careful. Too many people sacrifice their peace for approval, for conflict, or just because they don't know how to guard it. They stay in relationships that drain them, environments that stress them, and conversations that fuel their anxiety. They get caught up in other people's chaos and forget to protect their own calm. But here's the truth. Protecting your peace is not selfish. It's strategic. It's not about running away from challenges. It's about choosing battles wisely and refusing to let unnecessary noise steal your focus. Peace is your platform for growth, and without it, growth is nearly impossible. To protect your peace, you must first recognize what steals it. It could be negative self-talk, toxic friendships, overwhelming workloads, or social media scrolling that keeps you comparing and stressing. It might even be old habits or limiting beliefs that create internal conflict. Identifying the sources of disruption is the first step toward removing or managing them. Sometimes that means saying no to people who don't support your vision. Sometimes it means setting boundaries with family or coworkers. Other times, it requires unplugging from devices that bombard you with unnecessary stress. Whatever it is, protecting your peace requires clear decisions about what and who you allow into your mental and emotional space. Once you start protecting your peace, you'll notice your energy changes. When you remove distractions and drama, you gain mental clarity. When you say no to unnecessary stress, you create space for creativity and solutions. When you distance yourself from toxic influences, you start to feel stronger and more confident. Peace becomes a shield that guards your mind and heart against fear, doubt, and overwhelm. And with that shield, you become better equipped to face challenges without losing your cool. Protecting your peace also means being intentional about what you focus on. Your mind is like a garden. If you let weeds grow, they'll take over. But if you plant seeds of positivity, gratitude, and purpose, your garden will flourish. It's your responsibility to feed your mind with thoughts that uplift and empower you. This might mean daily practices like meditation, journaling, prayer, or simply taking quiet moments to breathe and reset. When you train your mind to focus on what builds rather than what breaks, your peace strengthens. You become less reactive to external chaos because you've built internal resilience. It's important to remember that protecting your peace isn't about avoiding reality or challenges. Life will always have problems, setbacks, and difficult people. Protecting your peace means you don't let those challenges define your mood or derail your progress. It means staying grounded in your purpose, even when circumstances are tough. When you protect your peace, you gain emotional freedom. You refuse to be a prisoner of other people's negativity or your own fears. Instead, you become the master of your own experience, choosing calm over chaos every time. One of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is permission to protect your peace. Give yourself permission to walk away from toxic conversations, to take breaks when overwhelmed, and to surround yourself with people who lift you higher. Protecting your peace is a form of self-love and self-respect. It sends a clear message. Your well-being matters, your growth matters, and you're worth the effort it takes to create a life where peace is the priority, not the luxury. When you commit to protecting your peace, you lay the groundwork for everything else. You set a standard for how you allow life to impact you. You build a fortress of calm that supports your vision and fuels your drive. And because peace is contagious, you'll find that your calm presence begins to influence others, creating environments where growth, productivity, and joy can thrive. Peace isn't just a feeling to be found, it's a power to be claimed. Protect it, cherish it, and watch how your life transforms around it. Study more than you speak. In a world filled with noise, opinions, and constant chatter, true wisdom comes from those who listen deeply and learn continuously. Too many people feel the need to prove their knowledge by speaking first and often. But the reality is that knowledge isn't built on how loudly you talk or how quickly you respond. It's built on how much you absorb before you express. When you commit to studying more than you speak, you position yourself to grow in ways that others who rush to talk will never experience. Learning is a lifelong process, and those who succeed understand that every conversation, every experience, every failure is an opportunity to gather information. They know that knowledge leaves clues, but those clues only become clear when you take the time to observe, analyze, and reflect. Talking too much too soon often blinds you to these clues. It closes your mind to new ideas and blocks the chance to gain insights that could change your trajectory. When you speak less and study more, you open yourself to deeper understanding and develop a wisdom that's grounded in real experience. There's an old saying, better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak and remove all doubt. That's not about fear of speaking, it's about respect for the process of learning. When you pause and listen, you give yourself the chance to gather facts, observe patterns, and see perspectives you hadn't considered. You avoid the trap of half-baked opinions or reactions based on limited information. Instead, you build a foundation of knowledge that supports confident, well-informed decisions. Studying more also means being intentional about where you get your information. Not all knowledge is created equal. You want to learn from mentors who have walked the path before you, from books that challenge and expand your thinking, and from experiences that stretch you beyond your comfort zone. It means seeking out those who are smarter, more experienced, or more skilled than you in the areas you want to grow. When you surround yourself with wisdom, your mind sharpens and your ideas evolve. The more you study, the more you develop the ability to discern what's valuable and what's noise. Another important aspect of studying more than you speak is humility. Humility allows you to admit you don't know everything and that you have room to grow. It's the willingness to say, I need to learn more rather than I already know enough. This mindset keeps you open to feedback and correction. It's what keeps the best leaders and successful people continuously improving. They know that the moment you stop learning is the moment you stop growing. Speaking too much too soon often comes from ego, wanting to impress or prove yourself, but real growth comes from humility and the hunger to improve. When you study more than you speak, you also develop patience. In today's fast-paced world, people want instant answers, quick judgments, and rapid opinions, but wisdom doesn't come overnight. It's cultivated through slow, deliberate learning. Patience allows you to sit with information, let it marinate, and come back with clarity instead of confusion. It's the difference between reacting and responding, between speaking from emotion and speaking from insight. This approach also improves your communication when you do decide to speak. Because you've taken the time to learn, listen, and reflect, your words carry more weight. People listen when you talk because they sense the depth behind your voice. You're not just adding noise, you're adding value. Your contributions become thoughtful, strategic, and impactful. You command respect not by volume, but by the quality of your insight. Finally, studying more than you speak helps you build stronger relationships. When you listen more, you understand people better. You see their needs, fears, and motivations. You create trust by showing that you value their perspectives. And when you speak, your words are more likely to resonate because they're grounded in empathy and understanding. Choosing to study more than you speak is not about silence, it's about wisdom. It's about cultivating a mindset that prioritizes learning over proving, growth over ego, and impact over noise. It's about building yourself quietly in a world that often rewards the loudest voice by becoming the one who listens, learns, and leads with insight. Stay consistent in silence. Consistency is the silent engine that powers every great achievement. It's easy to get excited about new goals and ideas, but what separates those who succeed from those who don't is the ability to keep going when the excitement fades and the noise of the world tries to pull you off course. Consistency isn't flashy. It doesn't grab headlines or win applause. It's quiet, steady, day in and day out effort that builds momentum and creates lasting change. When you commit to showing up consistently, even when no one is watching, you're investing in yourself in the most powerful way possible. Most people chase motivation or inspiration to get started, but those things come and go. Motivation is like the weather. Sometimes it's sunny and strong, other times it's cloudy and weak. If you rely only on motivation, you'll be at the mercy of your feelings, and feelings are unreliable. Consistency, on the other hand, is a habit you build. It's a decision you make to do what you said you would do, regardless of how you feel. When you build that habit, you no longer depend on motivation because your actions become automatic. You create a structure in your life that supports your goals, and that structure carries you through the tough days. Staying consistent in silence means doing the work without needing validation or recognition. It means resisting the urge to announce every little win or seek approval before you're ready. Instead of broadcasting your progress, you focus on the process. You understand that true growth is happening beneath the surface, where no one else can see it yet. This is the time to build quietly, to strengthen your skills, and to deepen your focus. The results will come, but they won't always come immediately or loudly. Consistency is about trusting the process and staying committed even when the outcome isn't visible. Consistency also builds credibility. When people see you show up regularly, they begin to trust that you're reliable and serious. They know you're someone who can be counted on to finish what you start. This kind of reputation is invaluable, especially in business, relationships, and leadership. It's what sets you apart from those who give up or fade away when challenges arise. People respect those who are steady, who deliver results over time, and who don't waver based on circumstances or mood. Another important aspect of consistency is patience. Real progress often takes time, and the fastest results rarely last. When you commit to consistency, you learn to play the long game. You understand that small daily efforts accumulate into massive outcomes. Just like a river carves a canyon not by force, but by persistent flow, your steady actions shape your future. You begin to see setbacks and obstacles not as reasons to quit, but as part of the journey. Consistency teaches resilience, the ability to keep going despite difficulties. Staying consistent in silence also means managing your expectations. It's easy to get discouraged when you don't see immediate rewards for your efforts. But consistency is about faith in the process. It's about knowing that what you're building today is the foundation for tomorrow's success. When you focus on short-term results, you risk losing momentum. But when you focus on consistent action, you develop a momentum that carries you forward even when the road gets tough. Consistency creates discipline. Discipline is the ability to make decisions that serve your long-term goals rather than your short-term desires. When you stay consistent, you reinforce discipline every day. You prove to yourself that you can stick to your plan, follow through on commitments, and resist distractions. This discipline spills over into all areas of life: your health, relationships, finances, and mindset, because once you build consistency in one area, it becomes easier to apply it in others. In silence, consistency becomes a quiet but powerful force. It's the difference between dreaming and doing, between wishing and winning. It's not about loud declarations or flashy moves. It's about showing up, putting in the work, and trusting that your effort will pay off over time. Consistency is the secret ingredient that turns potential into reality and ideas into legacies. When you stay consistent in silence, you're building a future that others will admire, even if they don't understand the hard work happening behind the scenes. Build character, not just credentials. In today's world, it's easy to get caught up in titles, degrees, and achievements, the external markers of success. But true success isn't just about what you have on paper or how many awards you collect. It's about who you are on the inside. Character is the foundation that supports everything else. Without strong character, credentials can crumble under pressure. When challenges arise, it's your character that determines how you respond, not your resume. Character is built in the small moments,